Carl Jazz Johnson here with boxing promoter Joe DeGuardia. Joe, once again, how are you?
Doing well. You know, most importantly, the fight took place, right? After a week like we had, and we ended up getting a good fight. You know, Geffrard really came in. He wanted to win, tried to do his best, and Joe put on a performance.
Talk about Joe's performance in front of a crowd of a lot of Joe Smith fans.
Yeah, it's great. Look, when you come to a fight like this, you see those, enthusiastic fans, and they're all cheering for him. You know, it's fun to see. It makes for entertainment, makes for drama. And Joe just is a relentless fighter. The pressure is just such a high volume pressure, and, he fights that kind of fight that really makes guys fold.
And we talked about a potential Canelo fight, a potential Beterbiev fight, but he mentioned Bivol. Talk about how much avenging his loss to Bivol would mean to Joe.
Joe wants Bivol. I mean, he wants to avenge that loss. He knows, as we do, he's a much better fighter than he was when he fought Bivol the first time. He's got much more experience now. And, he wants to avenge that loss. But there are other guys out there. I have my promoter hat. And from a promoter standpoint, the Beterbiev fight, I think, is more entertaining fan-wise. It's a thrilling type fight. And I look at Beterbiev as being the boogeyman. He's the undefeated guy, the guy who knocked everybody out that he fought. And that's a fight that is interesting, a fight that, has gravitas to it. So I'm interested in Beterbiev. I think it's an exciting fight and a thrilling fight. And obviously, everybody's interested in Canelo because he's the pound-for-pound king and the financial king.
One thing that Joe said in the post-fight interview is if he were to fight and beat Beterbiev, he would have won Bivol next and not Canelo. The revenge factor is that deep within him for that to happen. Would you have to have a conversation with him if he had the choice of either or and say, you know what, you might want to take this Canelo fight if it's available to you?
Look, obviously we have to see what presents itself and what fights are out there. You have to have two guys to make a fight. So I got to hope that Beterbiev takes the fight with Joe. Then Joe likes the idea of fighting Bivol next. But, frankly, Joe likes the idea of fighting the biggest and the best out there. If you could tell me we could bring King Kong into that ring, he'd tell me, can we make that fight? So, ultimately we'll sit down and figure out what the best fights are out there. But it's great to have a fighter that's willing to take all these kinds of fights. A fighter that wants to fight Bivol, a guy that he wants to avenge his loss with. So it's refreshing. It's a good thing to have, and it's a pleasure. Joe's as easy inside the ring, outside of the ring, as he is tough inside the ring.
Final question. You could see early in the fight, Joe was just excited to be back out there. What did it mean for him to be back in the ring after 9 months?
Oh, look, he's a fighter. Fighters want to fight. It's important to be fighting. You win the championship of the world. You want to be back in that ring. You want to defend that championship. And it's been a hard road to get there. Those 9 months have been a rough 9 months between the COVID, the change of opponent from Salamov to Callum Johnson, and then to Geffrard right now. So, and I guess the biggest thing that was weighing on him, as all of us, is there going to be a fight? Because we needed to find an opponent when Callum Johnson fell out. So it's I guess, relief, that he was able to get in that ring for all of us. And I think from Joe's perspective, it was rewarding, that he was able to get his fight in.
Thank you very much.
Well, absolutely, my pleasure.